That's B-U-R-N-E-double-T.
Yo, Sonny Burnett in the place to be with the Hegewisch Hex. My 6th trip of 2020, a new route that I developed, about a 20-mile route. Big loop, making use of the Illiana Trail, Burnham Trail, Torrence Avenue, Doty Rd, Stony Island, you name it, it's all in there. It was a warm day for a ride. Nothing I can't handle. Got up to about 90, 91, I think. Clear skies. Made sure to get the sunblock on, lest I burn away, which I'm prone to do. And just a great run. Look forward to doing it again. Parked as usual, Baltimore Food and Liquors, 134th. In Baltimore, there's Avenue O, headed east on 134th. I'm gonna come up in the trailer park here. Looks like a nice place to be. I'd move there in an instant if I had an opportunity. A life opportunity, that is. Could buy a trailer today, wouldn't do me any good. I'd be broke. So we're headed just across the border. Here's what they call Boy Scout Trail. It's still 134th, which dead ends basically at the state line. Not a bike-friendly road. I'm not referring to the terrain, which also sucks, by the way, as you can see. Good place to dump a body, bad place to ride your bike. But you're pretty limited in your thoroughfares that will get you out of Chicago and into Indiana. So this was pretty early. It was about 10 a.m. at the latest, maybe 9:45, so traffic was light. So here we go. Now we're headed north. We're in Indiana. Got the Luke gas station there on the left. And we're going to merge onto the bike path. And then just up ahead, we're going to go in the direction of the trailhead and get into the real path. Head towards Wolf Lake. Beautiful day for it. I mean, look at this. Look at those skies. Look at this path. On top of all that, I had the wind at my back, so I was moving at a pretty serious clip. Oh, here we go. Headed, as I mentioned, trailhead up ahead a block or two. Not a car or a bike to speak of, or a walker, or a dog, or a livestock, you name it, nothing. Here we go. Grass, no parkway is going to stop me. Trailhead's just up ahead out of sight. I was just full of energy today. I was feeling really good. I did make the mistake of knocking out about a 6-mile ride in back of the yards a couple hours after this one, and the 21 miles caught up with me, and I felt a bit fatigued. But no fatigue on this trip. Man, I felt like I could go forever. Look at this. Beautiful. If they charged me $20 admission to ride in here, I'd pay it. Sure, why not? Beautiful. We'll be coming up on Wolf Lake in about a moment. A lot of fishermen. Look at this. I remember I discovered this on my own. Didn't even read about it. Internet, nothing. And I was incredulous that this is available. As you can see, a lot of other cyclists jockeying for position. No. Very few other cyclists. Very few other people in general. There were some fishermen right in this area. I don't think they made it into the cut here, but I mean, what did this bridge cost to put together? It's just beautiful. There's a lot of things to complain about with infrastructure and the community you live in, but then you see, not that this is my community by a long shot, but man, they put more work into this than perhaps they needed to, but I'm very grateful for it. I always follow the signs that point me towards casino/marina, and I don't really know where the marina is. The casino is in Hammond. It's a horseshoe. I've actually went over to the buffet for lunch at that horseshoe once and ate my weight in a variety of cuisines. I think I almost died from overeating. One of many times in my life that was the case. Stopped up here. Oh, I forget now. 112th, I think we are. So now we're headed back into Chicago. So here we're just on the border. headed west, and now here's the Burnham. And we are on Avenue D, maybe, something like that, to my left. Actually had a couple walkers, bikers, whateverers. Beautiful area to live. My God, wonderful neighborhood. I'll be through some other neighborhoods in a bit that are not quite as nice, but hey, you can't have everything. So there's no signs at the path. I was looking for 106th because that's has a bridge to take me across the Calumet River. I ended up on 108th. So here I am on Avenue F, headed north to 106th. So I can make my way. So this is where my route has now deviated. Everything up to this point I've done before. So here's where I'm trying something new. And this guy's going to parallel park. Try to take me down. Try again. Failed. Here's 106th, headed west. So we've got, I think, about 2 miles to Torrence Avenue. Little commercial district here. I believe this is the neighborhood they just call East Side, as we are substantially east. And now here we are on the bridge going over the Calumet, and if you look here to the right, there's a guy parked on the sidewalk. I assume he's public works or something, though it's not a commercial vehicle, it's a personal vehicle. And there's an old timer with no shirt on. I'm not criticizing him for no shirt. I'm a bit of a nudist myself at times, but I don't know if he was fishing or just hanging out. But yeah, got bridges at I think 100th will take you across the Calumet, 106 and 130th. And here we are, 106th and Muskegon. Some kind of mess there in the lane, like concrete or something that sprayed or spilled or I don't know what. So I'm looking for Torrance, and it's coming up. You see the vibrant commercial district I was through a moment ago is now gone, and things are getting very quiet as we enter the South Deering neighborhood. And here we are now, south on Torrance. And again, things looking a little bit spooky. Not a lot going on, but it's about to get a hell of a lot more spooky. Unfortunately, I didn't roll enough footage on some of this stretch down Torrance, but it got extremely eerie. No traffic, no cars, no nothing. No residential, industrial, nothing. Did stop by at a pretty tore down, falling down, burned out, trash building and snapped a photo. And now here we are. We're looking for 122nd Street, so we can head over towards Stony Island in this kind of semicircle that's boundaried by Doty Rd on the west, Torrance on the east, 106th north, 130th south. And I believe, yep, here's 122nd. So again, I'm doing all this by memory at this point. I don't know landmarks, so if there's no signs, I'll just have to figure it out. So 122nd, more or less, dead ends at Stony Island. There's some pretty scary industrial type stuff going on. The international port would just be on the other side, dead ahead from where I'm going. So there's like some steel factories or things of that nature. But yeah, I've got a nice view of the marshlands, and it's really nice. So I was about 10 miles in, 10, 12 miles in at this point, I think, so I figured now would be a good time to stop for water. I had already stopped to have some water a couple times, but also to wolf a Cliff Bar. And I accidentally left the camera rolling. This was not planned, so here I am munching away on my peanut butter Cliff Bar and working on my first of 2 Nalgene's that I've got on my bike. Ended up drinking about 64 ounces of water on this trip. It was warm. I also had to urinate pretty badly due to some coffee I drank and a few glasses of water before I left home, and I had been looking for a place, so I decided this was it, and promptly when I whipped it out, a cop went by. But apparently he knew I was just heeding the call and decided not to harass me for it. But yeah, it was too nice. You just sit there and look around, totally peaceful. And here we are back at it again, west on 122nd, probably at about 1800 east at this point, Stony Island. Yeah, that was pretty terrifying. As you can see, there is no shoulder here at all. We got cornfields about 6 inches to my right, and that guy passed. There's another truck coming the other direction, and he really blew the horn at that other trucker as he went completely on the wrong side of the road. Probably not necessary. And I had worried that some of these areas, I really thought Torrance might be heavy traffic, because the traffic can be heavy at 130th. It was not, north of 122nd, but some of this got scary. Stony Island, on the other hand, has a bike lane, which is funny, because certainly no other bikers. Number one thing I saw there was mysterious bags of garbage that people had fly dumped out of the window of their moving vehicle, most likely. Perhaps with limbs and bloody rags, weapons. Don't even want to know. That'd make an interesting YouTube channel, wouldn't it? Cutting open fly dumped garbage bags. If you're going to go way out of your way to get rid of something, I'd imagine it's fairly dramatic what the contents are. Okay, here we are, north on Stony Island. Got my bike lane. The wind was pushing me so hard at this point. I was doing about like 19 to 20 miles an hour for 2 to 3 miles with minimal effort in 8th gear, which I rarely use. I couldn't even go fast enough. My heart rate was probably shockingly low considering the speed I was at. But you're going to pay the piper when you've got the wind at your back, and I know when I hit Doty, I'm going to do a 180-degree turn, and it's going to be in my face, and it was even worse than I thought it would be. But dynamics, that's what cycling's all about. Things change. You go down a hill, you go up a hill. Wind in your face, wind at your back. It's cold, it's warm. So here we are, just before 103rd, Doty and Stony, and I saw this looked like a good spot again to get some water in me before I headed out. Ironically, you can see the street sign there in the distance. As I've got a close-up of it here. I actually shot this with my iPhone instead of the GoPro. There's actually a sign that says 104th Street, but as you can see, there ain't no street, so I don't know if there once was or what. Very, very quiet. I was here for 5-10 minutes, never saw a vehicle. So here we go. We've got the last block north, 103rd. Let this guy get out of my way. Come on, buddy. And now we're gonna pull a paperclip turn onto Doty, and man, that wind was bad. Woo, was it bad. At that point, I'm about 15 miles into my ride, so that's going to contribute as well. I don't have the power to fight the wind as I maybe did an hour ago. And I fought it. It's fine. I stopped once for some water and to rest. Got the Bishop Ford there on my right, International Port on my left. Biking this stretch on Doty from 103rd to 130th is something I wanted to do for a long time. I did it, as I mentioned earlier, back in February. It was maybe 38 degrees then, so glad I got to do it again. Well, here we go. Doty has ended, and here's 130th, and I'm basically entering an expressway. You can see there's quite a bit of very quickly moving cars. And on top of that, there's no shoulder, and it's a narrow road, so you pedal your ass off and say, well, if you're in a bad situation, get out of it as fast as you possibly can and be done with it. No cars at this point, but I got buzzed a couple times by semis, cars, giant rigs, you name it. And here's the bridge over part of the, I don't know if it would be considered part of the Calumet or it's just part of the port's waters. And it's actually Stony Island there, I think, although it doesn't go through north. There's a pig lead factory there. Remember when I was a kid, my grandpa, he was a plumber, and they used to use lead to solder with. It's kind of shocking he didn't die of cancer burning lead all day or handling it, but those lead bricks, they call them pigs. I remember he told me that when I was a kid, and I kept telling him, you're lying, you're making that up. No, that's the truth. There's a pig lead factory on 130th and Stony if you ever need some. So looming ahead is some of the port, or that might actually be another scary industrial factory. And then coming up in the Ford factory as well, where you can buy a Ford Explorer or steal one if you need one. I think I hit about 26, 27 miles an hour descending this bridge here. Looks like I sped up the footage. That was a nice reward. Now you can see the Ford factory there in the distance on the left. So here we actually have a path begins that'll take you all the way to... They rearranged all this 10, 12 years ago, maybe more. Used to get off the Bishop Ford 130th, and it would take you right into Hegewisch. Now it merges with 134th and Brainerd, and they rearranged things for some railroad tracks and things of that nature. But they added this. I have biked on the road as well. If you want to get to Torrance, you'd have to, because the path jumps through all that. This was actually a bit of a climb for me. I don't know if I just wasn't prepared for it or the wind, but I was in a very low gear. This always reminds me of a pagoda, kind of Bruce Lee movie, like the Game of Death. There's Torrance beneath. And now all the excitement ends, and you are in a very quiet residential neighborhood. So I just had to spin around a bit in the back roads here. I needed 21 miles to get to 300 for the month and 1,300 for the year, and I saw I wasn't going to make it. Here's the library on my left and an AT&T building that I worked in many years ago. On my right, number 30 bus, I believe, there. Waiting to head down Baltimore, which is where I should be heading, but like I said, I had to circle about a few times. Interesting that all these roads have bike lanes here, because I don't see that they ever have very much bike traffic. Certainly some, but I don't think traffic would be impacted if those people just biked in the road. Some interesting cutoffs here. It's kind of like even a cutoff, that's what I'll call it. It's not an alley, but kind of like a gravel pit. It connects a couple of these roads. That was one. Coming up on another here. Yeah, beautiful neighborhood. Great place to live. Sometimes when I want to fantasize, I look at real estate and homes in the area and think, what if? But you know what? Problems will follow you everywhere. The things you complain about now, you'd find something else to complain about, right? So you might as well keep slumming it. Well, just about it. I think we're about to wrap it up. Headed back to Baltimore. Went over to Pita Kitchen. Got some Drago kebabs. Went to Man Park to eat them. Went up to Winer Beer back of the yards. Got my case of beer. Went home. Took a nap. Now it's 11:32 p.m. and I'm about to open beer number 5. Sonny Burnett checking out. Catch you on the flip side.